In Sherleaf, J. Pilgrim weaves a haunting tale of redemption, courage, and the supernatural. After a tragic accident, Bob Chambers is given one final chance to make things right. Guided by Sherleaf, a mysterious spirit figure. Chapter 5. The Accident. The night was cold, the Wellington Street slick with rain. Bob staggered out of the pub, the alcohol coursing through his veins making the world tilt and spin. His body was heavy, his legs dragging beneath him as if they no longer belonged to him. He barely knew where he was going, just that he had nowhere to be. His thoughts spiraled in endless circles, a tangled mess of bitterness and self-loathing. Kate and Mary had left him. He had gambled away what little money remained. There was nothing left but the drink in his system, dulling the weight of his failure. As he trudged forward, the streets blurred, the familiar outlines of Johnsonville warping under the flickering glow of streetlights. He barely noticed the puddles soaking through his shoes and the chilly wind biting at his face. He felt hollow, as if a part of him had already ceased to exist. The world tilted suddenly as he stumbled onto the road. His balance wavered, his vision swimming. He was too lost in his own haze to hear the low roar of an approaching car, too numb to register the blaring horn until it was too late. A burst of headlights filled his vision, followed by a violent impact. The force sent him airborne, his body twisting in the air before crashing onto the hard, wet asphalt. There was no pain, only the strange sensation of weightlessness before everything plunged into darkness. Bob lay crumpled on the slick road, rain pooling around him, his limbs splayed unnaturally. The driver of the car had already scrambled out, panic evident in his frantic shouts for help. The distant sound of tires skidding, voices calling, sirens wailing. None of it reached Bob. His world had gone silent. The agony of his life, the noise of his regrets. All swallowed into an abyss of unconsciousness. He was slipping, sinking deeper, his fate now adrift in the void, determined by forces beyond his control. The unseen dimension. Bob drifted through an endless void, feeling as though he were caught in a deep and dreamless sleep. The silence was broken by a distant hum, a soft light growing ever brighter until it enveloped him completely. He found himself standing in a vast white expanse, the boundaries of which were unseen and unspoken. It was then that he heard a calm, deadpan voice calling his name. "Bob," the voice said, and Bob turned to see an ethereal figure standing before him. The masculine being stood tall and serene, his presence exuding an air of tranquility and wisdom. His face was youthful yet ancient, with features that seemed to blend the innocence of youth with the depth of countless lifetimes. His eyes, a deep, luminous blue, held a gentle compassion that seemed to see straight into Bob's soul. The ghost's hair flowed like molten silver, cascading over his shoulders, meeting his beard, and glowing faintly in the ethereal light of the afterlife dimension. His skin was fair, almost translucent, with a subtle iridescence that made him seem otherworldly. He wore flowing robes of a soft pearlescent white that shimmered as he moved, adding to his ethereal presence. "Who are you?" Bob asked, his voice shaky and uncertain. "Where am I?" "I am Sherleaf, your guide through this unseen dimension," the ethereal being replied with a gentle smile. "You have been given a rare opportunity, Bob. In this state of coma, you have the chance to reflect on your life and make an important choice." Despite his serene and gentle appearance, there was an undeniable strength in Sherleaf's demeanor. His every movement was graceful and purposeful, and his voice carried a soothing yet authoritative tone. Bob's gaze took stock of this brilliant being before him. "What are you, Sherleaf? Are you some kind of angel?" Sherleaf smiled. "I am a spirit guide, sent to help souls navigate the complexities of the afterlife. My purpose is to guide, to teach, and to offer comfort and understanding." Bob's defensiveness began to waver as he took in the magnitude of what Sherleaf was saying. What exactly is a spirit guide? A spirit guide is an ethereal being assigned to help individuals on their spiritual journey, Sherleaf explained in a monotone voice. We have been on Earth before as people, and so we have experience and wisdom to help those living navigate the complexities of the physical plane. We provide guidance, support, and wisdom from the unseen dimensions, helping souls understand their life's purpose and navigate challenges. Bob's bewildered interior continued to soften as he listened. So, you're here to help me understand what I did wrong and what I can do to make it right. Precisely, Sherleaf replied. You have the opportunity to reflect on your life and decide whether you want to return to make amends with your family or conclude your earthly journey here. Bob's expression remained stern, his mind trying desperately to compute the scene before him. Reflect on my life? What's the point? I lived how I wanted to live, and I don't regret it. Sherleaf's eyes were filled with compassion as he spoke in a deadpan manner. Bob, you have made many mistakes, but this is your chance to understand the impact of your actions and decide what you want to do next. Come with me. As they moved through the white expanse, a veil of shimmering light appeared before them. Sherleaf touched the veil, and it parted to reveal a scene from the earthly realm. Bob saw the aftermath of the accident. The car, dented and with a broken windscreen, surrounded by police officers. The grim expressions on their faces told the tale of the severity of the accident. He watched as paramedics carefully lifted his limp body onto a stretcher, loading him into an ambulance bound for the emergency department. Your life choices have led you to this incident, Sherleaf explained. Your body lies in a coma, but your spirit has been given a chance to see the consequences of your actions. Bob's eyes narrowed as he watched the paramedics work. The concern on their faces did little to move him. Sherleaf stood with an unwavering look on his face. This is your moment of reckoning, Bob. You have the power to choose your path. Will you go down to the underworld as you are, or will you strive to make amends with your family and become a better person? The choice is yours. Bob looked at the scene before him, then back at Sherleaf. I did what I had to do, Bob said flatly. I tried to make a better home for my family. I don't see the need to change anything, Sherleaf sighed softly. Very well, Bob, but there are consequences you should be aware of. There are only two paths from here. To refuse to change means that you will go to the underworld. Bob's curiosity was piqued, despite his defiant stance. Underworld? What do you mean? The underworld is the realm where souls who refuse to change or repent find themselves, Sherleaf explained. It is a place of reflection and confrontation with one's deepest regrets and fears. Bob's brow furrowed. So, it's like some kind of punishment? The underworld is likened to a holding cell, Sherleaf replied in a flat voice. It's an opportunity to understand the weight of your actions. It is a challenging and painful process. Sherleaf motioned with his hand over the veil, and another scene began to materialize. This time, it was the decrepit flat in Johnsonville, where the air hung heavy with neglect and despair. In the dimly lit kitchen, Bob saw his wife, Kate, standing at the sink, her shoulders hunched with exhaustion. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying, the weight of her burden evident in every line of her face. In the background, Mary, their young daughter, was hunched in a corner chair, clutching a stuffed animal tightly to her chest. Her wide eyes were filled with fear as she listened to the muffled sounds of the television in the living room. Bob's gaze shifted to the couch, where he saw himself slouched with a beer in hand, mindlessly watching television. The sight of his own apathetic expression and the way he ignored the emotional turmoil around him made his stomach churn. "Do you recognize this scene, Bob?" Sherleaf asked gently. Bob's jaw tightened as he nodded. "Yes, I remember this. It was just another day, another fight." "Look closer," Sherleaf urged. "See the fear in Kate's eyes, the tears she tries to hide as she goes about her chores. And Mary, trying to make herself as small as possible, afraid to make a noise." Bob's eyes filled with anger and frustration. "I didn't ask for this life. It's not my fault things turned out this way. Sherleaf's voice remained calm and steady. We all have choices, Bob. The way we react, the way we treat others. These are our choices. You chose to escape into your own world, ignoring the pain you caused those who loved you. Bob's defiance began to waver as he took in the scene before him. He saw the anxiety in Kate's posture, the way she moved about the kitchen with heavy, burdened steps. He saw the fear and anxiety in Mary's eyes, the way she clung to her stuffed animal as if it were a lifeline. "Why are you showing me this?" Bob asked, his voice trembling with emotion. "Because you need to understand the impact of your actions," Sherleaf replied softly. "You have the opportunity to make a different choice now, to break free from this cycle of pain and regret." Bob's eyes welled up with tears as he watched his family suffer. "I never wanted to hurt them. I didn't know how to be better." "You have the chance to learn and to change," Sherleaf said gently. "You can choose a different path, one that leads to healing and growth." Bob's gaze remained fixed on the scene, his heart heavy with remorse. "I want to change," he whispered, his voice filled with determination. "I want to make things right," Sherleaf nodded, a compassionate smile spreading across his face. "Then let us begin this journey together, Bob. The path to redemption is not easy, but it is one worth taking." Bob's defensive stance crumbled as he took in the magnitude of what Sherleaf was saying. "What happens if I choose to change? Will I get a second chance?" "You will have the opportunity to return to your earthly life with a new perspective," Sherleaf explained. "You can strive to make amends, to be a better person, and to leave a positive impact on those around you." Bob remained silent, his eyes fixed on the scene of his family in distress. "I never wanted to hurt them," he repeated quietly. Sherleaf placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "This is your moment of reckoning, Bob. The choice is yours to make. Will you choose the underworld, or will you strive to become a better person?" Bob looked at Sherleaf, then back at the scene before him. The despair in his eyes began to be replaced by a glimmer of hope. "I want to change," he said, his voice filled with determination. "I want to make things right." Sherleaf motioned with his hand over the veil once more, revealing another scene. This time, it was Bob's path forward, his assignment. To begin the process of making amends, you must take a journey. Drive your daughter up to Auckland and make things right with your wife. Bob looked puzzled. "Drive Mary to Auckland? Do you mean Mary is still in Wellington?" Sherleaf nodded, his silver beard rustling. "Mary is in the city, in safe hands. I am the master of serendipity. I will make sure that you both meet each other. Then the journey can begin to Auckland." Bob still looked puzzled. "Why Auckland? Why can't I just apologize here?" Sherleaf shook his head. "This journey is more than just an apology. It's about bonding with your daughter, Mary, and proving yourself trustworthy and deserving of their forgiveness. You have 3 days, starting from when you regain consciousness in the hospital. 3 days to accomplish this before the deadline." Bob's eyes widened in realization. "What happens if I don't do it?" "If you fail," Sherleaf said gravely, "you will descend to the underworld, the realm where souls confront their deepest regrets and fears. It is a harsh and challenging process, but one necessary for those who refuse to change." Bob swallowed hard, the weight of his task settling on his shoulders. "Can I at least fly by plane?" "It would be quicker." "No," Sherleaf replied firmly. "You must drive. The journey itself is crucial for bonding with Mary. She must see your effort, and you must earn her trust and forgiveness. Only then can you truly make amends and hope to live a longer life." Bob took a deep breath. "I'll do it. I'll make things right," he said with determination. Sherleaf's expression softened. "Remember, Bob, this journey will not be easy. You will face many challenges along the way, but if you are sincere in your efforts, you will have a chance to rebuild your relationships and create a better future for yourself and your family." Bob nodded, his resolve strengthening. "I understand. I am ready to face whatever comes my way. I will be a better father and husband, and I will get my family back together again." Sherleaf looked at Bob with a reassuring gaze. "I will be checking in on you during your journey to ensure you stay on track. You will not be alone in this. If you falter or lose your way, I will be there to guide you." Bob's eyes filled with gratitude and determination. "Thank you, Sherleaf. I won't let you down. I will do whatever it takes to make things right." Sherleaf motioned with his hand over the veil one last time. "Before you go, Bob, there is one more scene you need to see." The veil shimmered, revealing a new scene. Bob saw and heard a Ministry for Children caseworker sitting at a desk in her Wellington office. The caseworker, a stern-looking woman, picked up the phone and dialed a number. "Hello, is this the Auckland number for Kate Chambers' emergency contact?" the caseworker asked. Steve, the Auckland branch manager, answered the call inside his home. "Ah, yes, this is Steve. How can I help you?" "I'm calling to speak to Mrs. Chambers," the caseworker said. "Is she available?" Steve shuffled uneasily. "No, she is out." "I will take a message and pass it on to her. I'm calling to inform her about an accident involving her husband, Bob Chambers," the caseworker said. "He's currently in a coma at the Wellington Hospital." Steve's expression tightened. "I'll take care of it. Thank you for your call." As the call ended, Steve's face hardened with resolve. He decided to keep the news to himself, not wanting to burden Kate with the information just yet. It would only make Kate more desperate to bring her daughter up to Auckland, and that would encroach upon his designs for Kate. Bob's heart sank as he watched the scene unfold. Through the veil, Bob could hear Steve's thoughts as well as his spoken words. Bob voiced his concerns to Sherleaf. Who is this man? Is Kate living with him? And why has he decided not to tell Kate about my accident? This scene shows you the urgency of the situation and that you will need to fight to regain your family, Sherleaf said softly. Kate is unaware of what has happened. It is up to you, Bob, to take the first step in making things right. Bob nodded, the weight of the task ahead of him dawning on him. I understand. I'll do whatever it takes. Very well, Sherleaf said, his voice filled with hope. When you awaken in the hospital, your journey will begin. Use these 3 days wisely, and may you find the strength and courage to make things right. As they prepared to part ways, Sherleaf paused and with a wry smile added, Oh, and by the way, Bob, I have done what I could to heal your comatose body. When you wake up, you will still be sore, but you will have the strength to undertake the journey ahead of you. Hi, before you watch the next chapter, remember to connect with J. Pilgrim. Discover the magic, embrace the wisdom, live the adventure. Explore the world of J. Pilgrim by checking out the links in the channel description. Also, remember that liking, subscribing, and sharing helps this channel reach more people who love fiction stories. See you in the next episode.